What's up, O?
How you doing, sir?
Everything good?
I'm good, man.
My man,
Yes,
man,
sir.
man.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up,
What's
man?
up with you, man? Yes, let's with you.
Peace, love, good health, and black power. Today, usually O and Neil pick his topic, but today I'm picking the topic. I was talking to my son-in-law, which is also my pastor, after church. Me and him had a deep conversation, and the conversation was about the 4 stages between a son and a father.
Oh yeah, you did talk about it.
Yeah. And I hollered, and I wanted to talk about it. I think it's good information, because a lot of times we be going through stuff and we don't really understand what we're going through, and as men, especially older men, we don't reach out as much. We used to talk a lot, but now I don't know what's going on with the world, man.
Yeah.
I think as men, we tend to isolate anyway.
That's
The women are really good about getting together and having girls' night and trips and all that stuff.
Right.
And men, it's just in our nature to isolate and not really communicate and all that kind of stuff. Your man, Jason Wilson, that's his whole platform is men being able to communicate.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many suicides among men, especially African American men, because there's a lot of lack of communication.
Okay.
And
So, when I was growing up on 11th Street, all the older guys, they used to get out there and sing and drink and do whatever, and they did it on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I never heard of no suicide, so that's pretty much what I'm used to. But now, as I got older, it's hard to find, first of all, it's hard to find good men that I want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, what's the meeting place?
Yeah.
And so I don't really know. It's like I love you two guys, and we could talk, and we kind of cut from the same cloth. Cause man, a lot of times I be having conversations with guys, and man, they be want to talk about smoking cigars,
the 80s or the
and young girls and stuff. And I'm like, I done moved past, and not that there's nothing wrong with it, but I just moved past that, man.
You're in a different stage.
I just moved past that.
Yeah, it used to be a conversation. Like I've been getting my hair cut at the same barber since 1998. Right. So, and he's gone from Georgia Avenue to another spot to his house. Right. And even once he moved to his house, it seemed like every time I went in there was at least 3 or 4 of us in there, and we would always get into these conversations, no matter what it was, sports, politics,
beautiful thing,
whatever, right? It was this place where we met as men. Right. Now, whenever I go in there, it's just me and the barber.
Man, COVID kind of messed everything up.
Well, even before COVID happened,
really?
For whatever reason, I don't know if it's one guy passed away. One guy, he just kind of disappeared because he was having some emotional issues anyway. But I looked forward to going in and having those, camaraderie with these other men, and it just evaporated without warning. So.
Man, I know growing up, I used to love just going around 11th Street, man, just hanging out and listening to the old dudes, man. And we would listen, whether, man, sometimes you might be like, man, this dude, but you would never disrespect him. You would listen.
Sure.
And man, it just helped me so much. And now, I see a lot what's going on with the youngest. They don't have those type of atmospheres.
Yeah, it's a blind leading the blind with the youngest now. It's not, they don't have older people pulling their coat. Yeah. And a lot of things too. I mean, that's why I appreciate our relationship. We can go swimming, whatever, this and that, man. Talk, get some good vegetarian food. But for the youngins, what I noticed, and this is in general, that means in general, not all the youngins, but in general, I see a lot of the youngins think they know it all. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to say, they don't. It's weird to me because we was growing up. If an older dude talked to you, man, it was kind of like
disrespectful.
It's disrespectful to be you listen just because he older. You know what I'm saying? You used to look up to older people, but now they think they know everything. I don't know.
They gonna let you know.
They don't know if it's Instagram or the whatever.
So I don't want to throw the women under the bus. I don't want to do that. But a lot of them getting raised by women, and they just don't know how to be men.
You know what?
I think that's a part of it. I also think just in general, the society that we have come to, where we are at this stage in our culture in the country in general, like it's just I just think overall our society is toxic by nature. Like there's so much going on that is pulling on people, and then anything's okay now.
Anything's okay.
You know what I mean? So there was a time where even if you were a criminal, you had rules. Right. Now, no, there are no rules anywhere. No rules. You know what I mean? You got people. You know, people. It used to be, you know, cheating has been around forever. Right. But it used to be sort of, you know, if you were a cheater, people kind of looked at you kind of sideways. Yeah. Now it's okay. Like people go to parties with their spouse to cheat. Right. You know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? Like so the rules of the way that we live and the moral fabric of where we are as a country has deteriorated to a point where I think one of the other things that has also suffered is the ear of the youth. Like you can't really get to them because there's so much. That's just part of the society we live in now. Right. And I don't know that it's entirely their fault. It's just a part of the DNA of the world we live in.
Right. And you know, go ahead. This along with what he's saying, that makes a lot of sense because the marketplace or capitalism pushes youthfulness, right? Mm-hmm. That's why you got all these women doing all these tummy tucks. Everybody got something done, especially they got money, right? Mm. It's all about this youth culture, and then so the youngins they being fed instead of by elders or older people who got wisdom, they being fed by Instagram. Mm-hmm. So now they nobody.
Rappers, don't forget the rappers.
And rappers.
Yeah, don't forget the rappers.
And rappers that are named Little, Baby, Little, Baby. It's Little, Baby, and Young. So who following that? That's all childish, right? Yeah. But they following them, and I think that's more of an influence. And nobody has time to sit down and talk with these young because they stuck to their phone. Yeah. So they don't have no time to talk to an older person or think that they know everything because they can Google everything, you know. So
I also think in the black community, I think once, at least specifically as it relates to the DMV and specifically into DC itself, I think once crack hit here and guns became readily available and more people had them, as the youth kids had them, then at that point, as an older guy, and you know, you're not really ready to approach. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that also affected how the older people related to the youngsters, because you know what I mean. Years ago, you know, you be in the classroom, y'all joning. Lunchtime, y'all fighting. 3 o'clock, y'all walking home together. Right. But that became you know, bang bang. You know what I mean? That became that, and I think also you know as more, you know, punks, I'm gonna just say it, you know, start carrying and you know, now they got a lot of false bravado. You know, that I think that also fed into, you know, I think there was a breach, a kind of a crevice that they started there. And I just think that also added to the crack.
Of course.
I think that's why it become what it is now.
I know a lot of days, you know, I see a youngin doing something wrong, but if he's not from my specific area, I ain't gonna say nothing to him because man, this joker might kill me. Yeah. This man, speaking of that, I know we gotta get into, but it's this young joker that come to the gym that we train in now, and I'm not gonna mention his name, but he went through a situation with his baby mother, and I don't know the details of the situation because, man, I don't know, but I do know. He ended up killing the baby mother, married this guy, and he ended up killing her new husband. Wow. Yeah. And the word on the street was, you know, they wouldn't let him see his daughter. And so, man, you know, we just deal with stuff differently. Like, man, you know, if I had knew Slim, I'd say, man, that's your daughter, man. The best way is to go through the courts. Yeah. Man, because now you done took a life, you done throw away your life, and now who gonna raise the baby? Yep. Yeah. And so, man, you know, so I'm gonna get into the first one when the son initially, when he looked at his father, he looked at him as to be a hero. Okay. Do you agree with that, or?
No, most definitely. I always tell everybody, man. I always tell everybody who got little kids, I say, It's good now, but wait till they turn 11 or 12.
Yeah.
I remember my daughter be like, oh, I remember one time she said, Dad, because I used to throw in the air.
Yeah.
You're the strongest dad in the world.
Yeah.
She became 11. You know what? You don't gotta go all the way up to the school. You can just drop me off. Everybody need to look at you change totally different. So at one point you were the biggest thing in their life.
Yeah, I know my father, man. He worked construction, was always a little strong, kind of cocky dude, man. And man, I thought he could beat the world when I was growing up, man. Good dude. And as we got older, and I got into boxing, and then we're going to number 2 because they say from being a hero to the son, you start being like a competitor. Now I remember I started getting the boxing. I'll be like, man, this little short. Because when I was young, I was small, but then I got taller than them, and I used to always. But I would never want to fight them. But I'd be like, man, I think I could.
Yeah.
You would think that in your mind.
Yeah.
I thought it into. One of my other brothers tried him and he knocked him out. Then I said, hold up for a minute. I said, when I say he knocked him, mow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this happened.
Lights out.
Yeah, so my oldest brother, he called himself, get ready to take up for my other brother. Both of these brothers older than me. And he was like, man, you should have did that, man, you could do this, that. But I'm watching the situation. And so Lamont Street right here. Bucket Park Road, a block away. yeah, you should have did it. I'll do this, I'll do that.
Don't let me get you.
And so my father was saying, yeah, well, come on, let's hang a little closer. And I'm sitting there watching, yeah, come on, I know what you gonna do. Yeah. I know you gonna do.
I know.
Old lion is still alive.
Yeah, hey, man. One hit a quitter, Jack.
Man,
I done watched them knock people out. And they fall all on their back, on their face, on their side. Yeah, because guys just come to the store and steal. He'd tell them, man, what there? And then he'd try to let them go, and then they'd buck. Bow! I watched them knock out a lot of guys, man.
Yeah, check their pockets afterwards, man. You got to pay for that.
Yeah. And so the second stage is competition. But the third stage, and I think we go through it a lot, is the when the son get older, and he at a stage where, man, I'm a man myself, and they call the third stage the fuck you stage. Man, I know I done been through it myself, and I done been through it myself as a father, but I done been through it also as a son. Like, my father trying to tell me, man, you should do this and do that. And I'm like, man, I can do that. I know what I want to do with my life, man. And man, 9 times out of 10, what the older people say, man, you can tell he's smelling himself. But 9 times out of 10, they always be right, but you don't want to listen to them.
I think at some point, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think at some point you get to a certain age where I don't know if it's intentionally always, if it's always intentionally, I don't want to listen as much as it is. You feel the need to prove yourself.
Prove yourself, yeah.
You feel the need to
That's a good point.
test your own strength.
Yeah.
I got a certain amount of information.
I agree.
At a certain stage, or whatever the case is, maybe you're playing whatever it is, you get to a point where you feel like you're a man, and I got this. I can do it.
my own independence.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think you're fighting for a certain level of autonomy, for yourself, And in that process, because you think, then there's this. Well, I don't want to hear it, right. I think and then
I got this.
Life hits you in the mouth, and you're like, okay, wait, man, let me slow down for a second. Let me listen. Or it's a matter of, well, I remember mom said this, or remember dad said this, so let me start applying. But sometimes it's just that, and I think that stage is different for everybody.
Yeah. My man was using big words over here. He said autonomy.
Yeah,
my man using big words, man. Yeah, man. Independence. Yeah.
And it's funny, now my father is dead and gone, and when he was trying to tell me stuff, I thought I knew everything when I was younger. But today, I still, I wouldn't say every day, but on a regular, I would go back to, hey man, what my pop say? Well, what would he do in this situation? I do it on a regular situation. Because man, he was a smart guy, a man's man. Like I feel blessed to be raised by him. And the funny thing about him, he didn't do a whole lot of talking, but his actions. Like, man, he gonna get up, he gonna work, he gonna pay the bills. He was a stand-up dude. He the type of guy, man, if he see a bundle of money right there and he see you the only one in the store, hey, man, is that your money? You know, he was just a good dude, man. He was just a good dude. So, like, right now, I still, you know, rely on the teachings of him today.
My sister and I were talking about that recently, where there are lessons that our father taught us, and some of it, I mean, we laugh at it because he would say some of the things he would say it over and over again, almost like he's reading them joints off a 3x5 card. It's almost like he's saying it word for word, the exact same way. But now, as well, he's gone and he's passed on. Then just when you get into certain situations, literally, my dad's voice will in my mind, and it's helped me in my life. My work ethic has come from watching him every morning get up. Once them 2 feet hit the floor, that man was moving until it was time to almost. I mean, literally, really, honestly, the reason he's not here is he worked himself to death. Wow, literally. Wow. So, but those lessons that I have from him. Work ethic, this was small things. He would always tell me, for example, he would say, if you put everything back the same place where you got it from, you never have to look for it. Oh yeah. So now I'm literally in the habit of my keys going the same place every day. I have certain things, I have a space or a place for everything. I never have to look for stuff. The only issue with that is if it's out of place, I don't know where to look because I only know that one place. So once I lose it, it takes me a minute to find it. I'm like, man, if it's not here, I don't know where that should be. And so, Neil, you got anything you want to say about?
No, you know, I think you guys said it best, man. You know, after a lot of times it comes to a point after they're gone is when they plant the seed. I think that's the most important thing is that even, man, and I say this to parents in general, man, as long as you're there, one is what you said, the greatest example is always your actions.
Man's action.
But then what they say to you, then what happens is you planting the seed, and just like anything, it takes time to grow. And what's watering it is experience. Because when you're young, you think you full, like they say, young, dumb, and full of you know what, right? Because that means you active. You feel like you can do everything. But then reality hits you, and then that water is planted, is watering the seed of their wisdom. And then once you get to a certain age, you realize, man, that everything they were saying was true. And not only that, but you realize how much they invested in you, and you appreciate it, and it makes you a better person or a better father in the end. So so I agree with y'all.
And so the last stage is number 4, and it's the burying stage. And we call it the burying stage because, you know, by this time, and you know, you successful, you know, you got your own family, and you can go to your father and be like, man, you know what, man? Hey, man, when you was telling me these things, I didn't understand it. But now, I get it. And I remember, man, my pops, when he passed, he had got real sick. And I used to go see him in the hospital, man. And, man, we probably talked more when he was in the hospital than all our lives. And I used to always think that he was harder on me than my brothers. And then when he passed, or before he passed, he was like, yeah, I was a little hard on you because, man, you different from your brother. You know, you was a little, you know, you different. And man, you know, not no discredit to my brothers, but he was just like, man, you know, I felt a little safer with you because I know you gonna do stuff that your brothers wouldn't do. And I put more pressure on you because, man, like you say, you had the potential. Because I was just like, man, why this dude, man?
He pressing me out.
He's impressed. You know, I felt like it, but
you know what's funny, and that's interesting because in my job, it's a male dominated, and they always say, if somebody giving you a hard time, if your superior is giving you a hard time, that means he sees something in you or he like you.
Yeah.
If he don't give you no attention, that means he's like, F you. Like he's not worth the breath.
Yeah.
But if he's on you, that means that he see potential in you.
Yeah.
You know, so that make a lot of sense. Yeah. And I never did understand. You get in your feelings.
Yeah.
But that make a lot of sense.
Yeah. My a lot of that same pressure from my dad and also from my high school football coach. At the time, I didn't quite get it, but then I guess by the time I was on my way out of high school, it just kind of hit me. It's like, oh, this dude, he's yelling at me because he believes in me. Yeah. But it took a minute before me to get that. All I heard was the yelling. All I heard was the volume in which the instructions were being given. Right. I didn't get the fact that this dude is trying to build, trying to build something,
and get you ready for the next level. Man, this dude might be in the NFL if he follow you.
To this day, I love this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, flat out, like, I love this dude, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. I remember once I walked in his office. And he looked me in my face because I had the habit as a kid of pouting.
Right.
If you say the wrong thing to me, right? And it wasn't what he said; it was the look in his face.
Right.
He said, "If you pout one more time, I'm gonna bench you."
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But when I looked, I was handing him something. When I looked in his eyes, the look on his face.
Right.
And I can't even really put it into words.
Mm-hmm.
But the look in his face communicated more to me than what he was actually saying because I could see something in his face. I was like, and I walked out of there going, okay. And it wasn't the threat of being benched. Right. It was at that moment when he said this, the look in his face made me trust him at a point where I hadn't trusted him before.
Right.
And from that point on, like, I'd have ran through a wall for that dude.
And so, man, I watched. Do you familiar with the dude Charleston White?
Mm-mm.
Man, you gotta check him out. He's a wild joker. But he said something maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I had experienced this in my life, but I didn't know how to put it into words. And so, we always have an older person that's want to be cool with us. And then we have an older person that's stern with us. And in the beginning, you kind of like the person that's cool with you, but you need the person that's stern with you that's not going to let you get away with stuff, and you respect them way more. And as fathers, man, we the one got to be the one that like, nah, you got to go to sleep, or you can't have that ice cream. You got to be, we got to be the ones that's stern with our kids to get them to where they got to be. And a lot of times they don't like it.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Who like it? Who would like anything?
Yeah.
If it was up to a kid, they'll eat candy bars and Snickers for dinner. Ice cream for breakfast.
But like I say, as a man, that's our job. We the ones that gotta come in. The mothers, they nurturing, they caring, they gonna let kids, but we the ones gotta put our foot down, man. And sometimes we get a bad rap till the kids get older and understand, hey man, I was doing this for the best in your best interest, not just to be an a-hole.
I remember, man, when my father would come, like, my father, I wasn't raised my father, but he would come down every time he complained about something. Why you always, I go up there, you always got these brand new Nikes. Why you keep buying Nikes? Or when I was staying with my peoples, did you give her some money? He give me $200 and say, now give her the $100. I'd be like, man, you just gave it to me. So, but all that stuff makes sense now.
Yeah.
He was saying, man, ain't nothing for free.
Yeah.
These people is taking care of you. Always make sure you take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, why you keep buying these shoes and you don't got no money in your pocket, right? So he was giving me these little things. And the one thing, I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing, and he wasn't around all the time, but I understood because he had a lot of kids and he was taking care of them. And he wasn't living swell. But I remember, man, he was in Harlem, back in old Harlem, like it was ran down. He was living in a little like apartment, little small spot. This joker woke me up about 4 in.the, took me outside, and was walking around, and it was nothing but dope fiends. And he said, see them? He said they zombies. He said, you know why they call them zombies? I was like, nah. He said, because they living, but they dead. He said, don't never do drugs.
Right.
And after that, I know one day I might get some. I would never use drugs. I never, like this the way it was. This I ain't want to traumatize him, but I was looking. I was like, what the hell? You got people running around? Yeah. He said, and so that's one thing that I always remember, man. And so but at the time, a lot of stuff I bucked against. But as I got older, I realized,
you appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I think there may be a fifth stage to that.
Okay, go ahead, break down.
And the fifth stage may be once you go through all those other stages, there may be like what do you want to call it? like a morphing stage where you end up turning into that joker.
Yeah.
So now you got your own kids. Now you're saying some of the same stuff, providing some of the same structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cause my father, man, he went for no whole lot of bull job, and he was about working, getting your own. And so, man, I feel the same way for my kids. I feel like, man, you shouldn't be living off nobody or trying to trick the system, man.
But he came up. I hate to interrupt you, but he came up like back in the day. They used to say a man's man didn't talk much.
Yeah.
They said all that smiling and kikiing. That's what old school meant. But you got to share. Your brother told me, and this was always my favorite story about your father when he was working in the field.
Yeah.
You said, man, Cooley said, man, he said he's working in the field.
Yeah.
He said it's hot. I'm talking about, man, he working in the field with a mule. He's hot as heck.
Yeah.
He's sitting under a tree. He trying his father came out with some water. And he said his father was mean. Yeah. He said, man, my father loved me. Look at it. He come out here to give me some water. He said he gave the water to the mule. You don't kill my mule out there.
He gave the mule. Yeah, he said that shit.
He said you keep.
He said you dumb motherfucker. You out here. You working my mule like this. You gonna kill him. Yeah, gave the water to the mule.
He said I was looking. He said I saw. He said I saw love in his eyes. Like he coming back. Oh man, my father finally. I knew he loved me all the time.
He tell that story all the time.
You dummy, you don't kill my mule out here in this hot summer. Man, I love it. You know why I love it? Because it showed that grit that the old school had. Just like your favorite story. You said Michael Jackson and father. Everybody talk about he's abusive.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Roy Jones.
You said Michael Jackson said, hold up. Yeah. But I thought all my kids are the most famous in the world.
He said my son is the most famous entertainer of all time. What are you talking about? Joe Jackson. Everybody tell about him child abuse, this and that.
Man, how about that?
Yeah, I remember Michael Jackson. He used to make me practice until I regurgitate.
Man.
Joe Jackson said, well, he get kind of country, right? So I don't know nothing about no regurgitating. But if he did, regurgitate all the way to the bank. I might have put that one. That's another one of my favorite. I don't know what that is, but he did it all the way to the bank. Yeah, man. And the same thing with the look at the Williams sisters.
Yeah,
they playing on Compton Fields, and father getting beat up. Yeah, so man, I appreciate a lot of people don't appreciate them hard times, man. Like. Don't nothing come good without struggle.
Man,
my dad, would make me do stuff over again if I didn't do it right the first time.
Man, that's old school. Man. Yeah.
Literally, I mean literally, so we didn't have a shower in my house, so he had a shower in his room, But the main bathroom, these DC townhomes, we had a bathroom in the hallway with a bathtub. Right. So he would always tell me, well, after you take a bath, you wash that tub out, stay in there until all the water goes down so you don't leave that ring right around the drain. Right? So the whole thing's clean. I come in, I still got to clean that before I can. When I come in, all I should have to do is run my water. Right? I didn't listen. So he waited till like 2 a.m. and woke me up and sit me in the bathroom and talking about, I told you, you got to clean out, you got to wait till that water run down that drain. You didn't do it. So now you got to go. And when I walk in the bathroom, there's Ajax throughout the entire tub. He had already sprinkled, not just the area, the whole tub. Yeah. Because if you hadn't done it, he said, again, 3x5 car. If you ain't done it right the first time, you ain't done it right. Yeah. So you ain't done nothing. So now I got to wash the whole tub. He made sure I had to wash the whole tub. Yeah. Another time he told me, he was like, I want you to cut the grass tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So the next morning I get up, I watch my cartoons, and it's one of them Saturdays where Oklahoma and Nebraska's about to play. Like that back in the day. That was
Oklahoma and Nebraska? What's in the black quarterback name?
Jamel Holloway. That was the game back in the day. Yeah, that was wanted to watch Oklahoma, Nebraska. So this dude waited till the game was on. Oh. And then pulls me outside and was like, you did a great job cutting the grass. He said, but we had a privacy fence. And back then, you had to take the rake, pull the grass, right? And you had them little snips you had. Now they just got the little machine, but you had to cut it with the joints. He said, you forgot to clip the grass underneath the joint. He's like, go get the lawnmower, go get the rake, go get everything, and do this joint all over again. I said, but I already cut all of it. He's like, no. You ain't done it right the first time. You ain't done nothing. Right. So go do it all over again. Yeah. So literally, I'm pushing the lawnmower on cut grass. Like it's already cut. But I got to do it. Yeah, and then once I'm done with all of that, then I could go and pull out all of this stuff.
I know you was doing it quick as I don't know what.
Mad as I don't know what.
And he did it.
And I'm so angry. Not only is the game on, but it's also now it's warmer now because it was like how in September you get that Indian summer where it's still hot outside. Right. It's hot now. Right. Yeah. And I'm
so to cut the grass early in the morning.
And that's what I call myself being smart and getting out there and doing it quick. Yeah, right. Now I'm so angry I can't do nothing about it. I got this one little tear just dropping right here.
Hey, Joe, he got
mad as a mug.
What's that tear my man was in the movie for? Denzel Washington. He had that little tear come out. Yeah, you had that.
That was hot, man.
That glory.
But it's. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I'm talking about it.
Yeah. And you can learn how to follow directions.
I've learned how to do this.
Now you learn how to follow directions.
And literally, I was in my sales career. I was at a guy's house, right? And this dude's got a really big house, really nice, expensive house. All these trees are over, right? At the very top, I got to put a camera right there. He's got these gutters. They got an odd shape to them, but they're full of water and leaves, right? He wants to just take, and it's shaped like, if you can imagine, it's shaped sort of like a Z almost. So it come down, come across, and come down again like this. He only wants to put covers on 1/3 of the gutter. Right. I said, sir, you're only want to cover this part of it. Your house is canopied by trees.
Oh yeah.
And your gutters are full of water. I said the only thing that's going to happen is the area that's uncovered, leaves will get in there, the water will wash it down there. I said just to put this up here, you haven't accomplished anything. Right. Like you're going to pay money to do nothing. Right. He said that's what I want done. So I said, sir, this doesn't make any sense. Like I'm arguing with this guy at his table. I said, sir, my father, I said, I got whippings when I was a kid, or I had to do stuff over again for not doing it right the first time. Right. So I said, and I'm commission only, it took me an hour to drive here. Right. I said, now somebody else will take your money and do that. I said, but I'm not going to do it. I said, you can hire somebody else to do it. I'm not doing it. I said, if you want me to do it right, I said, I can do all 3 sections if that's what you want to do. I said, but, and I've got pictures to show him that the water's full of gutters. Right. But because of my dad, I wouldn't do it. I literally walked away from, I drove up there on an hour on my own dime.
Right.
And it would have been some money. It would have been better than nothing. But I.
Oh, so he ain't take it.
He would have done it. He would have spent like maybe a couple $100 just to do that section. And it would have been like, for me as a commission, it would have been at least gas money.
Right.
But because it wasn't the right thing, I just didn't do it.
That's right.
It's like I'm not doing it.
Right. Right.
So
that's what you learned from your pops.
Yeah.
That was my dad.
Yeah. So we got anything else, bro?
No, that's it, man. I guess along with that, I seen you with the fighters do, be a father figure and tell them to do. And I seen you tell them something, and they think that it's not gonna happen, and then years later, it's what's happened.
Yeah. I mean, and so I learned from my father that you don't always got to be hard, but you got to be truthful. And in spots, you got to be stern.
Yeah.
And, fighters would...
and that's one thing you are truthful. I don't know if you got any friends, but you just told my man you fat.
But, when you telling somebody I love instead of trying to down, like if I tell somebody I love, and I want you to tell me somebody I love, I told him, man, you need to check. When you love somebody, you gotta check them because we live in a society now where, like Oscar led with, everything's okay. Yeah. And so if I see a person that I love and I see them head towards high blood pressure, diabetes, but I love this person, I shouldn't say, hey man. I think we should hold each other accountable.
My man said, he said, yeah, man, I look bad. Tone said, yeah, you do.
Hey man, you and Buko, stop doing that to me, man. I said, I'm the worst person ever.
I said, like Book said, tougher than ever, baby. Tougher than ever. My man said, yeah, you do. I said, man,
you remember when you was 32? Mm-hmm. Man, you cut up for no reason. Yeah. Man, you ain't supposed to be overweight at 32 years old, man. Yeah, nah.
I remember being in my early 30s.
Yeah.
It looked like I was working. I really wasn't. But just from
from all the past work, you still look like
Yeah.
So I think we should hold each other accountable. If you feel
close to what's as funny as it was, and he knew it too. You said it out of love.
That's my man.
You didn't say it out of no.
And I've been knowing this kid since he was 14, 15 years, since a kid.
Yeah.
Since a kid. Yeah. So man, hey champ, man, man, we chasing materialistic things, but it's nothing more important than your health and your mental health, man.
Man.
Yeah. Take care of your body.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Take care of your body and take care of your mental health too, because man, jokers, man, they holding stuff in, man, and not, man, because I'm a talker. I'm gonna let you know, hey Neil, hey man, this was going on with me, man. What you think about this? How should some people don't like, sharing their problems.
Yeah, man. I read something. It said something like wealth again, a wife again. They talk about all these things like a car again, like all these things you get again. But you can't get your life, you can't get your health again.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, homie.
Like you can get all these, man. I remember Will Smith said on his first stint as a rapper, he said, I lost $1 million something from scratch.
Yeah.
But he got it, you can get it back.
Yeah.
But man, that health, once you lose that, so
once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not putting an effort towards getting it back, because I done seen, people get back in shape, but you got to have a conscious effort. Matter of fact, I was telling Neil, I had a buddy that I worked with, young guy, like 35, and he was working out every day, and he lost all this weight. And what I would suggest to everybody while I'm telling the story is, if you on medication, keep taking your medication and check back and forth with your doctor before you stop, because he started losing weight and he just stopped using the medication. He ended up having a stroke. Yeah, be conscious and still taking your medication.
Until they tell you.
Hey, man,
until you can wean yourself off.
Until you can wean yourself off of it. But still check back and forth with the doctor. Like, man, man, they diagnosed me with high blood pressure years ago, and I still get the medicine. But I check my blood pressure every morning, every night. But I still get the medicine. But if I see it's high, but when I stay on my diet, it's never high. But if I see it high, I take the medicine for a week or so. I don't want to have no strokes or nothing like that, man. You never know, man. I got a good buddy, man. One of my good friends, Linda Bella, he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Man, this dude, man, he was putting on Facebook. He's cycling 80 miles.
I seen him on the bike.
Yeah.
I seen him on the bike. And
play basketball, he's still coming.
Man, strong cut up joker, man. Man.
Not a 6-pack, an 8-pack.
I seen it for myself. So and it's funny you said that because I just a dude that was younger than me just died. He was like 48, 49.
Yeah.
But the one thing, the dude who told me, he said and the same thing is what I witnessed. The last time we seen him, he had gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like a whole lot of weight.
Yeah.
And and then if you don't control that blood pressure, I be trying to tell everybody, this is a public service announcement.
Yeah.
If you have high blood pressure and you do not control it, you will have a stroke.
Yeah.
Your body is basically a machine.
Right.
So what's happening is that pressure is hitting your arteries, and you're gonna either have a clot because it's beating up on your arteries, or you're gonna have something to try to protect that artery, and that clot will lead and block something in your brain, and you'll have a stroke. You have to control your high blood pressure.
Clots, strokes, and brain aneurysms.
But it comes from occlusion in your blood vessels because you're putting so much pressure on the vessels. It's like anything; it has to heal it, so it'll have something to clot it. Yeah. But that clot can go to your brain, and once you have stopped blood flow to your brain, you're gonna have a stroke. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And so, with that being said, if you got a fat friend, it's all right to tell me, hey, you big fat motherfucker, you need to lose some weight, man.
Tougher than never, baby. Tougher than never. You gonna get
Hey, don't worry about his feelings, man. He'll be mad, but man, hopefully you get him on the treadmill or something, man. I would say, man, I ain't with y'all. I say, man, I ain't with y'all.
Total guy, hey, you ain't gonna have, he don't have no cut cards, man. He gonna give it to you straight, no chaser, man.
I love you. Yeah. Because I love you.
Yeah. He'll give you straight, no chaser. Because
I love you, Jay.
Oh, man.
We out, Jay?
We out, man. We out.
Oh, man. Always give God the glory, man. It's always good to sit down with that guy, my man Owen Big Neil, man.
Yeah, mind, body, and soul. You know how we do it.
Yes, sir. We out.